A 14-year-old boy stands in front of a giant glowing woman who wants to erase his very existence. This is not just a cartoon fight, it is the climax of a thousands of years long family feud that has destroyed entire planets. While kids cheer for the music, adults see a child being forced into a war he should have never been a part of. The truth is, Beach City is the front line of a cosmic trauma war. Hands down, this is the most deceptive world in animation history, hiding a brutal truth behind every single smile. Here's the deal. Beach City looks like the best place ever. It is a small town where you can get a donut, hang out with a lion, and live in a house built into a mountain. For a 7-year-old, it is a total dream. But for adults, this place is basically a monument to a massive disaster. The giant statue on the beach? It's not just a cool landmark. It is the leftovers of a giant war machine from a fight that almost ended all life on Earth 5,300 years ago. Every single part of this perfect world is sitting on top of the ruins of a space invasion. The crystal gems act like they are just protectors, but they are really just the last few survivors of a failed revolution. And get this, the crazy part is how the show deals with monsters. Kids think the corrupted gems are just scary beasts that need to be bubbled up. But once you grow up, you realize these are victims of a space nuke attack. The diamonds used a weapon that didn't destroy their bodies, but it destroyed their minds. Steven is not just saving them, he's trying to help people who survived a horrible crime. This turns the whole show from a fun adventure into a story about living after everything falls apart. See, the world looks perfect because the gems have spent 6,000 years hiding the truth. The biggest secret is rose quartz. Everyone thinks she is a saint who loved plants and humans. But the thing is, she was a leader who sent thousands of her friends into a war they could never win. Then, she just disappeared and left the mess for her son. She left a 14-year-old boy to deal with 10 million angry gems from other planets who want revenge. What most people do not realize is that Beach City is only peaceful because Steven is working 24/7 to fix mistakes he did not even make. It is a huge way for a kid who just wants to hang out with friends. Everything in this show points to the fact that the perfect world is just a thin layer of paint over a dark story. Look at the kindergarten. It is a place where gems were born by sucking the life out of the ground. They literally destroyed the dirt to make soldiers. Each one of those holes represents 50 feet of dead earth that will never grow anything again. The show makes it look pretty with pink colors and soft music, but it is actually a graveyard. It is a perfect world because it is a world that has moved on without ever fixing the damage. But the real horror is not the war, it is the people who started it. The diamonds are the big bosses who run everything. They look like glowing gods who rule thousands of planets perfectly. For a kid, they are just the final villains. But here's the catch. The diamonds are a perfect example of a really messed up abusive family. White Diamond is the leader who wants everyone to be exactly like her. She does not see other gems as people, she sees them as tools. If someone is not perfect, she takes over their brain and turns them into a puppet. That is basically a space version of a parent who won't let their kid have their own thoughts. Blue and Yellow Diamond are just as bad. Blue Diamond uses her powers to force everyone around her to feel sad whenever she is sad. That is 100% emotional manipulation. Yellow Diamond is different. She just shuts down all feelings and treats everyone like a machine. They treated Pink Diamond like a total joke. They locked her in a dark room for 1,000 years just because she was upset. When adults watch this, they don't see a space show. They see how kids get treated in bad families. This is the root of the perfect world's pain. Homeworld is a place where you have no choice. Every gem is born for one job. If you try to be something else, you get shattered, which is the gem version of ending. In their world, being yourself is a crime. The diamonds say this is perfection, but it is actually just a prison. They destroyed hundreds of other planets just to keep their empire growing. The crazy part is that they actually thought they were doing a good thing. It shows that the scariest people are the ones who think they are always right. Even when the diamonds start to change, the damage is already done. They spent millions of years being bullies. The scars they left on the universe are billions of miles wide. Steven has to teach them how to be nice, but that does not bring back all the people they hurt. The perfection they built was just a lie to hide how lonely and mean they really were. Being a hero sounds cool until you see what it does to a kid's brain. Steven is the main character, but his life is actually a nightmare. He is a child soldier. Since he was a little kid, the gems have been training him to fight. He did not go to school. He went to ancient ruins to fight monsters. While other 10-year-olds were playing games, Steven was learning how to summon a shield so he would not get crushed. The gems love him, but they also use him to finish a war they could not win themselves. They treated a kid like he was a 6,000-year-old general. The emotional work Steven has to do is huge. He is the therapist for everyone. He has to fix Pearl's sadness, Amethyst's anger, and Garnet's stress. This is called parentification, which is a fancy way of saying the kid has to act like the parent. Steven does not get to be a normal kid because he is too busy keeping the perfect world together. By the time he is 16, he hits a wall. He literally turns into a giant monster because he cannot handle the 10 years of trauma he kept inside. And get this, the perfect world expected Steven to be just like his mom, but nobody ever asked Steven what he wanted. He was born with a huge debt he did not create. He never felt like he fit in because he was half human and half gem. He was always on, always protecting everyone, and always smiling so nobody else would be sad. This is the dark truth of being the hero. It ruins your life for the sake of everyone else. Steven's kindness is actually a way to survive. He learned how to read people because if he didn't, the diamonds might destroy the earth. If he couldn't keep his friends happy, his family would fall apart. He's a soldier who uses hugs as weapons, but even a shield can break if you hit it too many times. Unity is supposed to be beautiful, but sometimes it is a literal prison. Fusion is the coolest part of the show. It is when two gems dance together and become one big person. For kids, it's a power-up. For adults, it's a way to talk about how people treat each other. Look at Malachite. This was a fusion between Lapis and Jasper. It was not built on love. It was built on hate and control. Jasper forced Lapis to do it, and Lapis used it to drag them both to the bottom of the ocean. They were trapped together for months in a toxic relationship. It shows how two people can stay together just to hurt each other. Then there is the forced fusion. The diamonds took pieces of shattered gems, basically the bodies of fallen soldiers, and glued them together. This created a giant monster called the Cluster. These gems have no voice and no choice. They are just a mass of spirits forced to be together forever. It is one of the most messed up things ever put in a cartoon. It represents what happens when you take away someone's choice and turn them into a tool. Even the good characters make mistakes with fusion. Pearl lied to Garnet just so they could fuse. To Garnet, this was a huge betrayal of trust. It showed that even in a perfect world, the people you trust the most can lie to get what they want. Fusion is a sign of how close two people are, and the show is very clear that if it is not 100% honest, it is wrong. It teaches kids that you always have to have permission before you get close to someone. Basically, fusion shows that being one with someone is not always a good thing. It could be a beautiful bond like Garnet, or it could be a cage like the Cluster. The gem world is a place where the most personal thing you can do is often used to hurt people. It leaves everyone picking up the pieces of who they used to be. The question is, can a broken world ever truly be fixed? The end of the story shows Steven finally leaving Beach City. He realizes that he can't be the perfect savior anymore. The world is not actually perfect. It is just a place where people are trying their best to heal. The gems have to learn how to live without a war. The diamonds have to learn how to be actual family members instead of bosses. It is a long, hard process. The perfect world was just a lie they told themselves to feel better about the scary stuff they did. Most fans wonder if the diamonds really deserve to be forgiven. They did thousands of years of bad stuff. Can a few songs and a hug really fix a galaxy of pain? The show suggests that you have to start somewhere, but it does not say it is easy. The truth is that the perfect world ended the moment Steven stopped pretending everything was okay. Once the truth came out, the real healing could start. It is messy, it is loud, and it is hard. But it is real. See, the lesson here is that you cannot build a perfect world on a pile of lies. Whether it is a family secret or a space war, the truth will always come out. Steven Universe is a masterpiece because it shows that growing up means seeing the flaws in the things you love. It's about realizing your parents are just people and your heroes might be broken. It is not about being perfect. It is about being okay with being a mess. So here's the deal. We all live in a world that is a little bit broken. We all have diamond problems in our families or our pasts. The dark truth behind the show is that perfection is a trap. If you spend all your time trying to be flawless, you never get to be human. Steven finally chose to be human, and that was the most important thing he ever did. Does the perfect world of Steven Universe make you rethink your own childhood favorites? Is a redemption arc enough to forgive thousands of years of galactic crimes? Let me know what you think in the comments. If you enjoyed this, hands down, the best way to support is to like and subscribe for more.